Well, I guess on that note, we'll go ahead and move on to our last bit of news, which is movie and TV related. We have a lot of stuff here, so I guess we'll just dig in. If it's cool with you, Adnan, I'll take this
Yeah,
first
go
piece.
for it. Go for it,
Uh,
Chris. I'll to it.
yeah. So this actually is fresh news. Happened today. So apparently a leak or I guess an unexpected reveal of information on Rogue One, a Star Wars story, happened today in the form of a few of the sample pages from the visual guide, the official visual story guide for the film. Basically, a lot of Star Wars and a lot of other movies, like the MCU and stuff, they release these books that are called the official visual story guide, and essentially it's a book that kind of like you can go through it and it gives you a little bit more detailed information and backstories and stuff like that, that maybe and history and stuff like that that maybe wasn't featured in the movie, like why was this ship designed this way, what's the origin of it, stuff like that, like why did this character have a scar on his face or whatever. Well, anyway, so I don't know if it was done purposely, but the reveal a set of sample pages from the Rogue One visual story guide came out, and it revealed a lot of stuff, dude. It revealed the CGI character that Alan Tudyk is playing. It revealed the names of all the characters in the fucking movie, and it also pretty much confirmed that Darth Vader is going to be in the movie.
Mm.
So basically, the names of the characters are as follows. You have Jin Orso, that we found out from the movie. You have Captain Cassian Andor, who's the Rebel Alliance officer that's being played by Diego Luna. You have a character called Baze, which is the blind assassin guy that we see in the movie. You have the robot. His name is K250, and apparently he's a robot that's switched from the Empire to the Rebels. And there's a bunch of other ones. I mean, I could keep going. The bad guy, the dude with the long cape that we saw in the trailer, his name is Director Krennic, and he's the director of the Imperial military. So he's a pretty big character. But going through the sample pages, there is an image that on the left side shows the main characters posing with like some Rebel Alliance ships flying, and then on the right side it shows the Imperial people posing with the Death Star and a bunch of TIE fighters. And dude, in the middle it shows Darth fucking Vader himself, like his a close up of his head. So Vader is pretty much confirmed to be in the movie. Unfortunately, and there's another image of him too in the Galactic Imperial Villains section. Unfortunately, they don't really reveal anything about Vader. In it, they just kind of like show a new photo of him, and he looks a lot like how he looked in A New Hope, even with like the cheap, helmet and stuff. Like they purposely made him look shittier than the later movies to fit the continuity of it all. But yeah, dude, it's pretty cool. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, I mean, it's all over the internet. It hasn't been taken down yet or anything. It's cool. I think it's really great that we finally have information on the movie a little bit more.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I see your Star Wars buzz is going off the fucking roof then, Chris.
Were you looking at it while I was talking, or have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I was flicking through them then.
It's pretty cool. I like the Vader thing. I really like how they made him purposely look like, um, you know, a bunch of stuff. And there's other stuff too. I'm not going to reveal one particular thing, but that robot K250, there's something important about him, plot wise in the movie. And if you guys want to be spoiled, you could read it, but I don't want to be the one that does it. But yeah, it's great, man. I think it's cool. I'm glad that I mean, I hate how Disney's been handling Star Wars. I think they wait until the last second to give us any information. It's like, fuck, man.
They're fucking teasing you, Star Wars fanboy.
Yeah, yeah.
Aren't they?
Like, give it to me, god damn it. But yeah. So that's that. That's kind of like the whole piece. Yeah, dude, I'm excited for Rogue One. I think Rogue One's gonna be
I'm
really cool.
I'm interested in it. I'll probably leave my thing there. I can't really say much on it. I've never been a huge Star Wars nut, but like, it has got my interest. want to see how far it goes because it will be a big stepping point to see where the entire like anthology series and everything else goes.
Yeah, it's an important movie. They fuck this up, they're fucked.
Hmm. Indeed. Right. Do you mind if I take the next one?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, dude.
Okie dokie. Right, I've got these pages up. So, the Assassin's Creed. Well, we'll just go into this anyway. But anyway, video game movies have a track record of mediocrity and worse. But Ubisoft believes its upcoming film based on Assassin's Creed could break through and become a hit. Ubisoft's Azia Amar, who is head of content for the Assassin's Creed brand, spoke up on Twitter to respond to a suggestion that, quote, movies based on video games have and never will work, end quote. Amar doesn't see it that way. As an example, he pointed to how movies based on comic books didn't always have the critical and commercial standing that they have today. Like comic book movies, films, video game films. Never mind. Video game films will get better, and Assassin's Creed could be the film to prove that, he argued. Amar is not alone in thinking video game movies will eventually get better. Adrian Asariki, who produced last summer's Agent 47, which was one of the worst reviewed video movies of all time. Sorry, I can't even keep myself going. It's just like...
It's so blunt. Jesus.
Said earlier this year, the key to making a better video game movies is to involve the creators. Well, fair enough, mate. Like, fucking hell. Um, he said, and I quote, Marvel became Marvel once they started creating their own movies. No shit. No shit. It's not part of the quote. That's just me.
That is
Um,
no, that's part of the quote. I can confirm
I, I think the way to do a video game movie is number one, have filmmakers that are passionate about them and know them. They're fans. They're not just looking at it as a job, and also have developers and publishers involved. Yeah.
it. I don't
That
know.
was
I
one.
mean,
We'll quickly jump into the next piece because this is all
yeah,
tying. It's basically a three-piece news story that we're doing right now because we're going to
right.
do loads of things. But the next piece of news, anyway, combined with that one, is that the bulk of Assassin's Creed movie takes place in the modern day. The film's executive producer has confirmed. Pat Crowley told IGN that the film is set 65% in the present and 35% in 15th century Spain, a ratio that doesn't quite match up with the games. In the Assassin's Creed game series, most of the action typically takes place in historical periods such as colonial America, the French Revolution, and the Renaissance, among others. Regarding the present day slash past percentage split, lead actor Michael Fassbender explained why the film is structured the way it is. He said, and I quote, there are certain things that we absolutely want to respect in the game, but we also want to bring new elements to the game. This isn't a video game that we're making. We're trying to make a cinematic experience, so there are new things that we have to introduce, end quote. Okay, so combine that with the actual Assassin's Creed trailer. Chris, it's a free for all. Hit me.
Oh man, dude. First of all, I mean, I would love to see a video game movie adaptation become successful not only financially like Resident Evil has, but also in critically and for people to like be proud of something. But I gotta
Free.
say, yeah, but I gotta say, man, Assassin's
But
Creed. What?
sorry, I was going to continue that. Agreed, but I also feel like we've gone past that. Uncharted 4 being a recent example where the cinematics, because it's like we talked about this before anyway. Like 10 years ago, I was a kid. I was like, oh, I want a movie based on Metal Gear. Now I'm like, I don't even want anyone to go near making a Metal Gear movie because I feel like
Yeah,
it's just gonna be like really, really badly done and constructed. If I want to watch the movie, I could just go watch Metal Gear cutscenes. They effectively are a movie.
yeah. That
But
is true. We've gotten to the point in technology where video games are being produced like fucking Hollywood films. There's no point to
yeah,
make a movie adaptation anymore.
with Hollywood actors, Hollywood advisors, with like the
Yeah.
entire like Hollywood roster coming over. They realize how profitable of an industry it is right now. Why would you even kind of like hesitate to even go near it?
Yeah,
But anyway,
it's one thing to do a comic book adaptation because that's a comic book. It's like almost like a storyboard if you think about it. But yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that you know, it's almost like a non point at this point. But if they are gonna pursue it, I would love to see it done successfully. But I gotta say, man, with Assassin's Creed, I mean, I don't know, man. That Kanye West song in the trailer and the trailer itself, I thought was like they could have done way better. It just I felt like it really didn't. explained the movie, but it didn't really get you excited for it, if that makes sense. It's a teaser, I get it. I mean, I guess another trailer is going to be coming out. But yeah, dude, I don't think I'm going to see it in theaters at all. Like, I'm definitely skipping it. I'll probably, whenever it comes out on Netflix, I'll give it a watch. I like Michael Fassbender though a lot, and I like the visual style of the film. I think the Spanish Inquisition looks great, and I think that the modern day Abstergo stuff looks really nice. But yeah, just I don't know, dude. I'm kind of like done with like you mentioned a second ago. Like, there's really no point in seeing adaptations anymore. Like, who the fuck cares?
Very true. Very true. Yeah, it's a strange one because all the news comes together. I mean, this isn't going to make the movie that makes video games more successful on the big screen. Like, not necessarily. I feel like as I said, we've gone past it, and I mean, like the biggest problem for them now is going to be appealing to people who aren't gamers to go and watch this movie,
Yeah,
which I can't understand. The marketing team going to be like, kind of like rifting their head, be like, right, how the fuck are we going to do this? Because like you have a strong community of Assassin's Creed fans that might go and watch it, and some gamers. But at the same time, there's a load of people who don't even know what the fuck Assassin's Creed is. And like, is there anything that really like enticed them to go and see it?
yeah,
So it's going to be one of those things where like, they will have to look into it. On the second part, the ratio split is really weird because
yeah.
but I also understand because the budget is probably so big, they couldn't really film in 15th century Spain that much. But it just makes very little sense though because as like the article says, most of the fucking games are spent in the Animus in the past. You don't really stick to the present. The present's just like, well, the present story went off the fucking track a long time
Yeah.
ago, but it's like it was the main focus about going back and living as an ancestor. So 35%, how much can you really cover of these characters?
Yeah, it's an odd choice. I mean, maybe it's a shitty. Maybe the person didn't really, it's not really going to be like that because I can only assume that you're going to have to do a lot of introductions in the present day because they need to like make it more like cinematic and put more emphasis on explanation and stuff like that. So maybe it'll. That's why he said that or she said there, whoever the fuck it was. But yeah, if that is the case, if it is mostly in present day, then I think they've already missed the whole point of Assassin's Creed. I mean, I don't know. It'd be like if you said most of the Uncharted film will be Nate researching things. Then the rest of the film will be
Yeah.
him in the jungles. About that. I think most of it is action, and then.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm very curious to see how this pans out, though. I'll put it that way. I mean, like I said, visually it looks really nice, and I like Fassbender. They have a really big actor, so
They do. They can still cock it up beyond anything, but we'll see.
yeah. Um, you want me to? You want to take this next one, dude, or do you want me to take it?
You can take it.
Okay. So, Captain America: Civil War has pushed the MCU, like all the films under MCU, past $10 billion globally. So, with the success of Civil War and how much money it's made, yeah, the MCU as a whole, all 13 movies collectively that are out right now, have passed the $10 billion mark worldwide. It says here the Civil War continues to dominate the box office both at home here domestically and internationally, having grossed worldwide $940.8 million so far, and it's actually the fourth in of the 13 films. It's the fourth top earning film right now, behind the two Avengers movies and Iron Man 3, and it's already ahead of Guardians of the Galaxy, which made $773.3 million back in 2014. Um, and then the article goes on to say how to compare it to Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, how that has made 868 million to date, and it's been out for a longer time. So it was 6 weeks ahead of Civil War, and
Hmm.
I don't know if we covered it or if it was just a news piece that came out during our break, but I think somewhere Marvel confirmed somewhere that like the whole point of making Civil War or pushing it this early was in direct response to Batman v Superman. So I think that's interesting that it made more money.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's not over, but I highly doubt Batman v Superman is
Yeah.
going to cross 900 million. I think it's going to stay at where it's at.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's doing really well. The entire MCU collectively, I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps pushing numbers and
Yeah.
exceeding it. Obviously, the two-part formula might come into play for making even bigger profits. But yeah, big things for Marvel. It's not the train is not stopping anytime soon. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
No, most definitely.
But anyway,
Yeah.
do you want me to take this second to last piece of news, or do you
Do
want
it,
it?
man. Oh, well, you know what? Why don't I just wrap up the show? You want me to take the last two pieces?
I'll take this one then. You
Take
tell
that
the
one?
last.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So following the recent news that Space Jam 2 is officially happening with NBA superstar LeBron James in the lead role, the director of the first movie has come out to say the project is quote doomed end quote. So an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, Joe Pike Pictor
Picta?
offered
Yeah.
his
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
Pictor offered this advice to filmmakers, quote, don't do it, it's doomed. Michael Jordan was the biggest star on the planet, end quote. Pictor claims Golden State Warriors point guard Steve Curry is a bigger name than James right now. He added that the movie likely won't be out for another 2 years at least, which gives Curry even more time to further extend his dominance over James. He went on to say about why the time was right for the original Space Jam movie back in 1996 and why it's unlikely that the sequel will succeed. He said, and I quote, when we did Space Jam, there was a perfect storm of players and ex players available Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, and Patrick Ewing. They all had a persona that completed the film. Oh, sorry, that complemented the film. There are none around like this, like that now. End quote. The original Space Jam made more than 230 million during its box office run. The movie, which combined live action and animation, sorry, saw Jordan play a very important role in a basketball game with the Looney Tunes characters like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. The story for the sequel is kept under wraps for a minute. So yeah, I completely agree with him. There's no point making with LeBron James. Michael Jordan was literally the biggest name past basketball. I don't know how many people really know who LeBron James outside of basketball is. Obviously, I do. Like, we could have a pro perspective if I would be like, Chris, who the fuck is LeBron James? Like, then maybe it would have been that thing where it's like, okay. Well, I definitely know there's a lot of people that don't know who LeBron James is. I know a lot of people that know who Michael Jackson, like, actually, using Michael Jackson, like, Jordan was almost on the same level at one point of like his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
90s, everyone in the 90s knew who fucking Michael Jordan was.
Yeah, man, I'm so uh I'm kind of this is a strange new this is, we've never really covered something like this. This is strange. Space Jam 2, there's a rumor a few years ago, remember that they were like, I think we might have even covered it on one of our shows, but on how like Space Jam 2 was going to happen with LeBron, and I thought that's a great idea. And then it kind of like didn't happen, and it got very silent. I don't know how successful this movie will be. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe I have to agree with the director of the first movie. It might be doomed. Like, dude, that first
Well,
movie. I mean, how old was
oh,
I? I was in third grade when that movie came out. No, fourth grade. And dude, that was like huge. I mean, it
I
was
was.
ginormous.
I remember I was a kid. I was like about 6 or 7.
Yeah, dude, it was
Yeah.
everywhere.
It was
Every like,
nice. I don't think I watched it on release. I think I was a little bit older when I watched it. I was still a kid.
yeah,
It was one of the films that made up my childhood, along with Jumanji and like Matilda and other things. But like, it
right,
was
right.
huge because I was a kid. I never heard of Michael Jordan, but it had the Looney Tunes, and the Looney Tunes were massive in the 90s.
Yeah,
That was like
yeah,
the cartoon fucking rampage of the 90s. Like now, Looney Tunes are still there, but they're very much quiet. Like you don't
yeah,
see that much mention of the Looney Tunes. Like they were fucking, it was ridiculous. I was on the same level as Tom and Jerry and everything else. Like people knew what it was. So combining the biggest like fucking animated, well, one of the biggest animated kind of like cartoon shows just to watch, along with fucking Michael Jordan, it was like a match made in heaven. Now it's like, why would you combine two things that really couldn't, you know, generate the same level of success as the
yeah.
first?
And plus, and dude, I have to also say, like Michael Jordan. Going back to the subject of this, Michael Jordan was huge. I mean, he was he's up there with like Michael Jackson, with like Elvis Presley, with like all these huge fucking like, celebrities and sports people. I mean, he is a name that you will remember for forever. I mean, even though he's retired now, he's older. He's like in his 50s, I think. He's an older man, so he's not doing this. But like, yeah, man, he was huge at that time. And plus, that was around the time that he had said, "I'm going to quit basketball and go play baseball," and then he quit baseball and he went back to basketball because he sucked at baseball. And that was, I think, part of the reason why the movie was so successful. He was in the spotlight. But yeah, all these people are saying LeBron James. I mean, like, I'm even reading some of the comments, and some people are like, "Yeah, I think anybody outside of Cleveland doesn't care about him." So I don't know. LeBron might not be the best choice. Maybe like 5 years ago or 4 years ago, it would have been a smart choice. I don't know, dude. I would have to see. I mean, I'm curious about it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious about it, like to see where it's going.
Yeah. Um, I'm not too sold on it. I really don't want to see it, but that's just personally me.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to have a kid, so I don't know if I'd want to. Do I want to take my kid to go see this movie? I don't know. Plus, it's kind of out of left field too. Looney Tunes is not as popular now as it was back then. Now it's all CGI and all that crap. So I don't know. I mean, for fuck's sake, that's why Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the prequel, Who Discovered Roger Rabbit, that's why it was stuck in development hell. No one wanted to make an animated like live action film because they're like, no one's gonna go see that, and now they're doing this. So the plot thickens, my friend. The plot thickens.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we have one last news here, guys, and then we're gonna wrap up the show, and go our right off into the sunset on our horses. But so big news that's happening with Marvel Television. It's actually like a triple whammy here. So first of all, ABC has made a couple of announcements. First and foremost, Marvel's Agent Carter has been canceled, which kind of comes as no surprise. We kind of all saw it coming. The ratings were like breathlessly fucked. They were like really bad, and it wasn't really doing a whole lot good. And we were even lucky it got a season two, to be quite honest. So unfortunately, yeah, the show was canceled. And then on top of that, there was a show that they filmed a pilot for that was called Marvel's Most Wanted, a spin-off of Agents of Shield. The studio has decided not to pick up the show, meaning that they shot the pilot, they showed it to them, and they said, "Nah, we're not going to make it into a series." So Most Wanted is off the table now. That's no longer happening. And then one last piece of news: they have announced that Agents of Shield, which is still on the network, it's going to be airing a fourth season. This 2016 2017 television season. They announced that the show will now be airing at 10 o'clock at night instead of 9 o'clock at night, which is kind of like giving it the kiss of death because you're basically saying, like, we're going to put you at a later time where people may not necessarily watch you and watch your ratings crumble and then feel justified that you were going to cancel you. So, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, Marvel TV, it looks kind of bleak right now.
Mhm. Um, yeah, Agent Carter. There's no love lost to that show not getting renewed. I think like for me, we did our spoiler cast, which you can go and check out, but we really
Yes,
weren't
yes.
sold on it. The entire premise. I feel like it stepped down a couple of pegs rather than going forward on the momentum it had in the first season. So I'm not really completely like saddened by this. Like if it would have been Hannibal, then yeah, which it did happen, which I was also sad about. But like that's beside the point. It's just like I don't really think Carter was going to survive anyway. I don't think Haley Atwell was too interesting keeping his third season going.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, like you mentioned, and again, like Adnan said, do check out the spoiler cast. I mean, we really got into more depth about season two, but yeah, it had lost its. I don't know, man. There's something
It's
about it. It
magic.
didn't. Yeah, it didn't have as much heart, and you know, it's. I mean, I would like to see maybe a one-off or a mini-series come out just to bring finality to it because it does end on a cliffhanger, which kind of sucks. Um, but at the same time, I mean, I guess knowing that Peggy can still pop up in the movies, like how they use her kind of sparingly, like an Ant-Man. She was an Ant-Man at the beginning, and she was in Winter Soldier and stuff. I mean, I guess that's kind of cool that she could technically pop up in some flashbacks in future movies. Because I love Haley Atwell. She's so
Yeah,
delightful.
she's really good.
Yeah, she's such a great actor. But yeah, so I don't know, dude. It's a bummer. I don't care about Most Wanted, by the way. I never was down with that show to begin with. And the Agents of Shield thing, that thing's about to die. So maybe Marvel TV will just stick to Netflix. Maybe it should just stick to Netflix.
Probably, yeah. It seems to be
Yeah.
going well for Netflix.
Yeah, that's really their home. So maybe that should be. I know that show Cloak and Dagger is going to be on Freeform, or at least they're going to be doing. I don't know if it's been picked up, but there's a show, another MCU show that's going to be on the network Freeform, I think it's called. Rebecca
Yeah.
watches that show, and it's kind of aimed more towards the female demographic. It's going to be more. I don't know what the hell they're doing with it, but it's based off the character's Cloak and Dagger, and that's going to be coming out supposedly next year. So I don't know. I don't know if that's been picked up, but yeah,
Mhm.
maybe they should just stick to Netflix. I think that works for them really well.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but yeah,
Yeah.
that's that's
Anyway,
brie.
I
That's
think
all, folks. That's it.
yeah. So yeah, guys, that concludes this week's episode of the Gamer Headlines Show. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TGA Show and like our official Facebook page, the Gamer Headlines Show, for up-to-date episodes from Gamer Headlines' this podcast. Additionally, the Gamer Headlines Show can be found on Podbean, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, and of course right here at gamerheadlines.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Take care, guys.